Hello students, I am Anup sir and today I am going to start the chapter Work, Power and Energy in Physics for class 10th. Okay, now before starting with the explanation again I would suggest you all that you should note down all the notes given in the starting of this video and then you go to the explanation part. Then it will be easy for you to understand. You should have these notes with you when we come to the explanation part. Okay, now see here, first of all, we have defined as work. Now in physics, we say that work is done when a force is applied on a body and it produces displacement in the body. Now there are two cases, or you can say many cases. One simple we take that if a force is applied on a body and the displacement is along the body, and in some cases we apply the force and the displacement is not along the body. So how to derive the formula for work done? Now as the note suggests that the work depends on three factors. One is the magnitude of the force applied. The second factor is the magnitude of the displacement produced in the body. And the third is the angle between the direction of force and displacement. Angle between the direction of force and displacement. Let us consider two examples. First one is that you stand in front of a table and you apply the force in the table. On the table. So what you will observe? You will observe that the direction in which you are applying the force, displacement of the table is in the same direction. So that is an example. Or you push a car. So if you push a car, what you will observe? That the direction of the displacement of the car is the same as in the direction in which you are applying the force. But now let us consider when you apply a force on a trolley bag. You must have observed that when you apply a force on a trolley bag, then the force applied and the direction of the motion of the trolley bag is different. They are not in the same direction. So there may be two types of cases when force is applied and the displacement is in the same direction, or it may be so that when you apply the force on a body, then the direction of the displacement and force, they are not the same. So that means in that case, force and displacement will be making certain angle between them. That's why we have given in the notes that work depends upon three factors. It depends upon the magnitude of the force applied, it depends upon the displacement, magnitude of displacement, and it also depends upon the angle between the force and the displacement. Now combining these three factors, we can get the formula for work. Now see, first of all, let me explain you these. Now here I am in the diagram, I have shown you a case when displacement and force, they are not in the same direction. Now actually what we need is, we need the direction, we need magnitude of force to be multiplied by the magnitude of displacement. But if they are not in the same direction, then what you need to, now see in this diagram, this is the direction of force and this is the direction of displacement. Now what we need from here, we need the component of force which is in the direction of displacement. Hope this is clear. This is the direction of force, and here we need, now if force and displacement are not in the same direction, then what you need is the component of force which is in the direction of displacement. Now see here, if this is the direction of force, we can divide this force in two components. One is the horizontal component and one is the vertical component. This is the horizontal component of force, this is the vertical component of force. So here we need that component of force which is in the direction of displacement. So here this horizontal component, as you can see, this is in the direction of the displacement. So we will multiply these two to get the work done. So from this case you can say formula for work is F into S cos. So work is equal to, now you need the horizontal component of the force, that is F cos theta. So F cos theta into displacement is S. So now in this one you see, in this diagram, displacement is not in the direction of force. So what we will do, we will be breaking this displacement in two components, horizontal and vertical. Now this horizontal component of displacement is in the direction of the force. So we are going to multiply these two to get the work done. So the work done is equal to force F, and then we have got the component of displacement in the direction of force. So from here, these two formulas together, you can write it as F S cos theta. This can be also written as F S cos theta. So finally we can say work formula is F S cos theta. So this is the formula for work done, F S cos theta. Hope this point is clear to you. Here, see again, we have taken force and displacement in different direction. And remember, to get the work done, you need force and displacement to be in the same direction. Now, as these two are not in the same direction, so what we will do from here, we will break the force into its two components. Horizontal one, F cos theta, vertical, F sin theta. Now this component of force in the direction of displacement, these two will be multiplied and you will get work done. Similarly in this one, force and displacement were not in the same direction. So here what we have done, we have taken displacement and we have taken the two components of displacement, horizontal and vertical. Now this horizontal component of displacement, which is in the direction of force, so these two will be multiplied and we will get the formula for work done. So all over, whether you break force or you break displacement, work formula will be F S cos theta, where F is the magnitude of force, S is the magnitude of displacement, and this theta is the angle between the work between force and displacement. So you can note down this formula. So basically we will be using this formula for calculation of work done. Okay, now next we have in the notes the special cases. Now we have some special cases of work done. Now the first case is given to you when force and displacement both are in the same direction. Suppose this is the direction of the force and same is the direction of displacement. Both are in the same direction. Now if both are in the same direction, we can say angle between them will be 0. So here theta will be 0. Theta will be 0. Now let us calculate the work done in this case. Work is equal to F S cos theta. This is the formula. So F S cos 0. And remember, cos 0 is 1. So here we can substitute F S into 1. So the formula is F S. So this is the formula when force and displacement both are in the same direction, and we say that we get the maximum work done, that is a positive maximum work done. So in most of the numericals where angle between force and displacement won't be mentioned, and there we will be considering that force and displacement both are in the same direction. Now let us take case 2. Now in case 2, let this be the direction of force and this be the direction of displacement. So here you can see angle between them is 90 degree. Okay. If theta is equal to 90, then remember cos 90 is equal to 0. So let us calculate work done. When force and displacement both will be perpendicular, work is equal to so work done is 0. So in any of the cases where force and displacement will be perpendicular to each other, in those cases work done on the body will be considered 0. And remember, when there is no work done on the body, we will say that there is no transfer of energy. Okay, let us take the third case. In third case, we have force in this direction and the body gets displaced in opposite direction. Now this is the case mostly when we are trying to stop a motion. See, a body is moving in this direction and we are trying to stop the motion by applying the force in opposite direction. So displacement of the body is in this direction and you are trying to stop the body by applying the force in opposite direction. Force and displacement are in opposite direction. So there we say that work angle is 180 degree. And remember, cos 180 is equal to minus 1. Now let us calculate work done here. So work is equal to Fs cos theta, Fs cos 180 is minus 1. So the work done is negative. So we have these three cases. So remember, the basic formula that we have for calculating the work done is Fs cos theta. And then we have some special cases. So in most of the numericals where we will consider that the force and displacement are in the same direction, so we can simply use this formula Fs. Work is equal to Fs. Otherwise, you have to apply this formula, and then whatever the angle is given to you, applying that angle, you will be getting the work done. So in the notes, we have given you case 1, case 2 and case 3. These are the three cases that we have discussed over here, and we have also given you few examples. See, man pushing a car or a table. So in that cases, we say that angle, force and displacement are in same direction, so angle is of 0 degree. Then we have given you the next example of case 2. In case 2, we have taken the example when a body moves on a circular path. So for this example is a body moving on a circular path. You see here, if a body moves on a circular path, at any instant, suppose this will be the direction of displacement. At the same time, this will be the direction of force. So direction of displacement will be tangential and direction of force will be along the radius. So these two will be making an angle of 90. So work done will be 0. That's why example for this case is a body moving on a circular path. The centripetal force acting on the body will be along the radius and the direction of displacement will be tangential. so angle will be 90 degree. So work done will be 0. Then we have case 3, when force is applied opposite to the direction of displacement. So these are the cases wherever you will apply the force to stop a body or stop a motion. Whenever you have to apply the force to stop the motion, then the force and the displacement are in opposite direction, and we say that the work done is negative. Okay. Now we have to consider work by force of gravity. Now let us take case 1. Now in this case, body of mass m is moving in the downward direction through a vertical height h. So displacement over here is equal to h. Now in the case 1, now first of all, we know that every body is acted upon by force of gravity. So how much will be the force of gravity on this body? Force of gravity. Force of gravity in this case will be m into g. This is the formula for force of gravity. Now here force of gravity is always in the downward direction. So here in this case force of gravity is in the downward direction. Displacement is also in the downward direction. So when force and displacement both are in the downward direction, so theta will be 0 degree. See, force of gravity is always in the downward direction, and here the body is moving in the downward direction, so displacement is also in the downward direction. So force and displacement both in downward same direction, so angle will be 0. And here force of gravity acting on the body which is of mass m, so force of gravity will be mg. Now you need to calculate work. We know formula for work is Fs cos theta. Now F is the force of gravity, that is mg. S is the displacement, so displacement, body has moved through a height h in the downward direction, so displacement is equal to h. And then cos theta, here theta is 0. So it's mgh into 1. So this is the formula for work done by the force of gravity. Now let us consider the same body moving in the upward direction. Now whether the body moves in downward direction or it moves in upward direction, the direction of force of gravity will remain the same. So force of gravity will act in downward direction only, though the body is moving in upward, but force of gravity will remain in downward direction, and its magnitude will also remain the same. So force of gravity, its magnitude will also remain same, m into g. Now but in this case, if you see, force and displacement, they are in opposite direction, so theta will be 180. So let's calculate work done. Now force here is how much? mg. Displacement is equal to h. Cos 180 is minus 1. So the work done is minus mgh. So see, magnitude of work remains the same. Only in case 1, when body was moving in the downward direction, then the work done by force of gravity is positive. And when the same body moves in the upward direction, then the work done by the force of gravity is minus mgh. Formula is same, magnitude will remain the same, mgh, that's only the difference of sign. See here, force of gravity is in the downward direction, body is also moving in the downward direction, so theta is equal to 0. In this one, force of gravity will remain in the downward direction, but as the body is moving in the upward direction, so angle between these two will be 180, they are in the opposite direction, so work done will be negative. So here these are the two cases. So if a body is moving in downward, work done by gravity is positive, but if body is moving in upward direction, then work done by gravity is negative. Okay, the next we have the units of work. So the units of the work given is SI unit is joule and CGS unit is earth, and then we have a relation between these two. So let us see how to derive the relation between unit of work. Now formula for work done. So force is equal to, we can write work is equal to maximum work, Fs. Okay, here work is in joule, SI unit, and 1 joule means 1 Newton into 1 meter. This is S is displacement. So unit, SI unit of work is joule, force Newton, displacement meter. So we can write 1 joule is equal to 1 Newton into 1 meter. Now converting this side into CGS, 1 Newton is 10 raised to power of 5 dyne. 1 meter is 10 raised to power of 2 centimeter. Multiplying these two, we get 10 raised to power of 7. And this dyne centimeter is known as earth. So we have this relation that 1 joule is equal to 10 raised to power of 7 earth. This is the relation between SI unit and CGS unit of work. Okay, the next topic then we have conditions for the work done to be zero. Under what condition work done can be zero? So the first condition is you apply the force on the body and there is no displacement. So if no displacement, work done is zero. So example is you push a wall. You keep on applying the force on the wall, and if wall does not move, that means displacement is zero. So the work done is zero. So the first condition for the work done to be zero is S is equal to 0. That means there is no displacement in the body. No displacement. Then we say work done is 0. The second condition is there will be a displacement, but suppose displacement is perpendicular to the direction of force applied. That is, angle between them is 90 degree. If angle is of 90 degree, then cos 90 becomes 0 and we say that the work done is 0. So this is the second case when you apply the force but work done will be 0. That is, displacement is perpendicular to force. If displacement and force are perpendicular to each other, we say no work is done. So these are the two cases under which we say no work. So this was all about the work done. Next topic that we have is power. Now let's see what power is. So for power they say it is the rate of doing work. Now what do we mean by rate of doing work? Rate of doing work means work done in 1 second. So for power, we can say it is the rate of doing work. So how can we calculate the power of a body? By dividing the work done by the body upon time taken. So this formula will give you work done. Sorry, power developed. Work done upon time taken. So from here, if you write down the unit of power, it's work upon time. Work is in joule and time is in seconds. So joule per second. And now this unit is also known as watt. So in place of joule per second, you can write watt, and watt is abbreviated as capital J. This is the unit of power. Now from here, what we notice that power depends upon the work done, and it also depends upon the time taken. But see how it depends upon the time taken. Time is in the denominator place, so you will say that the power developed depends upon the time. And how it depends upon the time? More the time taken, less will be the power. More the time taken, less will be the power. So here we say from the above relation we see that power spent by a source depends upon amount of work done and the time taken by the source. Now, here they say if you find a body taking more time to do a certain work, you will say that the power of the body is less. And if a body is taking less time to do a certain work, we will say that the power of the body is more. So, now suppose a force is applied on the body and the displacement is in the same direction. Now just see here this one. Force is applied on the body and the displacement produced in the body are in the same direction. Now we know that whenever force and displacement are in the same direction, then formula for work is F into S. So here we can write power is equal to work upon time, and work can be replaced by F into S. Right? They are in the same direction, so angle will be 0 degree. So work is equal to F into S. But you must have noticed one thing more. If body moves in a straight line path, as over here, force and displacement are in the same direction. If body moves in a straight line path, then displacement and distance are same. Displacement and distance are same. So this S can be replaced. It is called displacement, or it can also be known as distance, because I am saying if a force is applied in the direction in which the body is being displaced, they are in the same direction, so distance and displacement will be equal. So this displacement can also be replaced with distance. So we can write it like this also. Power is equal to force into distance upon time. In place of displacement, you can also write distance. And why? Because body is moving in a straight line path. So distance and displacement will be same. And we know that distance upon time is called average speed. This is the second formula for power. So one formula for power is in terms of work upon time, and the other formula for power is force into average speed. But remember, this formula to be applied only if force and displacement are in the same direction. So these are the two formulas we will be using for power, and the unit of power joule per second, or it is also known as watt. Next we have difference between work and power. Now we know that work done does not depend upon time, because if you see the formula for work done, work is equal to force into displacement. It does not depend upon time, whereas power depends upon time. More the time taken, less is the power. Less the time taken, more is the power. But for work, we don't have any such criteria. Whether two person A and B, they do the same work. One takes 10 minutes, other one takes 20 minutes, but still we say that the work done by both is same. Whereas power developed will be different. The one who is taking less time, his power will be more, and the one who is taking more time, his power will be less. Next we have energy. Now for energy, what is energy? Energy of a body is its capacity to do work. That means energy and capacity are related to each other. If suppose you do 20 joule of work, so we will say that you have spent 20 joule of energy. Because what is energy? Energy is the capacity to do work. So whenever work is done, there is always a transfer of energy. Because without transferring energy, you cannot do work. Why? So if work is done on the body, so there will be transfer of energy, because whenever the work is done, that means there is a transfer of energy. So if work is done on the body, so energy of the body will increase. But if work is done by the body, then the energy of the body will decrease. And then we have the difference between energy and power. As the work does not depend upon time, and work and energy are related to each other, so we can say energy spent does not depend upon time, whereas power depends upon the time in which the energy is spent. So these were the certain topics that I wanted to explain to you, and now based on these topics I will explain you a few numericals. Let's see this first numerical. In the first numerical, they are saying a body when acted upon by a force of 10 kgf. First of all, you see in this numerical, force given to us is in gravitational unit. So our first step over here will be the force that is given to us we are going to convert it into absolute unit. So how to convert 10 kgf into absolute unit? Whenever the gravitational unit is given, you multiply it with the value of gravity and you will get force in absolute unit. Remember, force given in gravitational unit, you will be multiplying it with gravity and you will be getting force in absolute unit. So that's our first step over here. We have converted it into from gravitational unit to absolute unit. Along with this, they have also given to you the displacement. Displacement S is given 0.5 meter. That's the displacement given to us. So force is given, displacement is given, and now we have three different conditions. Now see the first one. They are saying we have to calculate the work done by the force when displacement is in the direction of force. Displacement is. Now what does this mean? displacement in the direction of force. This means theta here will be 0 degree. Now let's calculate work done. Work is equal to Fs cos theta. So it will be Fs cos 0. Now let's substitute the values. F is 100. S is 0.5 and cos 0 is 1. So this gives us 50 and the unit for work will be joule. So we have got the answer for the first part, that the work done will be 50 joules. Now coming to the second part. Now in the second part we are saying it is making an angle of 60 degree with the force. So in second part theta is given 60 degree, and from here must remember that cos 60 its value is half. So in the second part they are saying it is making an angle of 60 degree with the force. So theta is 60 and cos 60 is half. So let's calculate the work done. So F is 100, S is 0.5, and then we have cos 60. Cos 60 is half. So that will give you 25 joule. So the work done in case 2 will be 25 joule. Now coming to the third part. Now the third part they say it is normal to the force. Displacement normal to force. This means theta is equal to 90 degree. So here when we calculate work done, F is 100, S is 0.5, but cos 90 is 0. So the work done will be 0. So in third case, work done is 0 because they have given that force is normal. So when you calculate it, cos 90 is 0, so the work done will be 0. So you can pause and note down this numerical. Now if you go through this numerical, it's given a boy of mass 40 kg climbs up 15 stairs, each 20 centimeter high in 5 seconds. So here mass of the boy is given 40 kg and he is climbing 15 stairs, each 20 centimeter high. So first of all calculate the height that he goes up. Let us calculate what height he climbs. He is climbing 15 stairs and each stair is of 20 centimeter height, that is 300 centimeter. When you convert it into meter, it is 3 meter. So this is clear. So first of all we have calculated height attained by the boy. He is climbing 15 stairs. Each stair is of 20 centimeter height. So we can get height that he ascends is 3 meter. Okay. Mass is given to us 40 kg and time is also given, as well as gravity is also given. Now in the first part, what they have asked for. Force of gravity. Now let us write the formula for force of gravity. Mass into gravity. That's the formula for force of gravity. Wherever you get the weight of the body, that is called the force of gravity. So mass of boy is 40 and the gravity given is 10. So 400 Newton. This is the force of gravity acting on the boy. Now coming to the second part, work done by him. Now if the boy is moving in the upward direction, in which direction will be he applying the force? See the force by the boy. It is in upward direction, isn't it? Let's calculate it. Force by the boy. So whatever the force of gravity is acting on the boy, that will be the force by the boy. That is equal to his weight, 400 Newton. And he will be applying the force in upward direction. Okay. Now the displacement S, he is moving 3 meter and that too in the upward direction. So if both the force and the displacement are in the same direction, then what formula do we use? Theta will be 0 degree. So what formula you use for work? Work is equal to F into S. There is no need to write cos theta because cos 0 will be 1. Or if you want to write, you can write it, but there is no need for that. So F is 400 Newton and the displacement is 3. So we can say 1200. So the work done. Now in the third part, they have asked us to calculate work done by force of gravity. So let's see force of gravity. That we have already calculated. It is force of gravity is 400 Newton. But we know that force of gravity always acts in the downward direction. Now in which direction the boy was moving? In the upward direction. So displacement is 3 meter in upward direction. Now in third part, force of gravity is in the downward direction whereas displacement is in upward direction. So they are opposite direction. So theta will be 180. So let's calculate work done. So it's 400 into 3 into cos 180. So that will make it 1200 into minus 1. So it's minus 1200 joule. Now you can see in the second part, boy was moving in the upward direction, so the force applied by the boy will be in upward direction and displacement is also in the upward direction. So angle between them is 0. So we can use the formula F into S because cos 0 will be 1. But here we have to calculate work done by force of gravity. Force of gravity is in the downward direction whereas displacement is in upward direction. So angle is theta. No. So it will be minus. Remember, wherever theta is 0, you need not to show the working. You straight away use the formula F into S. Now coming to the fourth part. In the fourth part, they have asked you to calculate the power spent by the boy. Okay, formula for power is work upon time. Now, work to be taken in joule and time to be taken in seconds. So work we have already calculated by the boy is 1200. Work done by boy is 1200 and the time that he takes is 5 seconds. And the unit of power is watt, so it will be 240 watt. Hope this is clear to you now. So you can pause and note it down. Numerical number 3 says a machine raises a load of 750 Newton through a height of 16 meter in 5 seconds. Calculate energy spent. Now for energy we know that it is the capacity to do work. Means if you calculate work done, that will be the energy spent. So here we have to calculate the energy spent. That means we are going to calculate work done. So energy spent will be equal to work done, because by the definition we know that energy is the capacity to do work. So we are going to calculate work done. Now here you can see a machine is raising a load. Whenever a load is lifted in upward direction, that means work is being done against gravity. And what's the formula for work against gravity? It is mgh. This is the formula for work against gravity. Now in this formula, what does this mg represents? Mg represents weight, or you can say it represents load. So you can write it as weight into height. Weight means load of the body. So machine is raising a load of 750 Newton. So that's the load given, that is the weight, that is mg, 750 into height. Height is 16. And now you multiply it. 16 into 5, 80, carry over 8. So this will be the work done, or you can write it this way also. You shift the decimal 1.2 into 1, 2, 3, 4 places we have shifted, 10 raised to power of 4. So this much of energy has been spent. So hope this is clear to you. They were asking for the energy spent, and energy spent means work done. Now coming to the second part, the power of machine if it is 100% efficient. Okay, here we have calculated work done. Now this is the work done by the machine. So you will say this is work output. So from work output we can calculate power output. So this is work output because this is the work done by the machine. So this is output. So from work output you can calculate power input. So let's calculate input power. Output, first of all, we are going to calculate output. Work done upon time taken. So work done is 12,000 and the time taken is 5. This is work. This is power output. But the question says you have to calculate the power of machine. Now power of machine means you have to calculate the input power. You have to calculate input power. Now if you see that the efficiency of the machine is given to be 100%. Now if efficiency is 100%, so this will be the power input. That is the power of the machine. Because whenever a machine is 100% efficient, then work input is equal to work output. In the same way, power input is equal to power output. So we have got the power of the machine is 2400 watt. So you can pause and note it down. And the question they have said, a water pump raises 50 liters of water through a height of 25 meter in 5 seconds. Now first of all, you can see they have given you water in liters. Now remember, 1 liter is equal to 10 raised to power of minus 3 cubic meter. 1 liter is equivalent to this much. So how much liter of water is there? So for 50 liters, it will be 50 into 10 raised to power of minus 3 cubic meter. So this is the volume of water known to us. In the question they have given us 50 liters of water, and 50 liters of water is equal to this much cubic meter. Now, density of water is also given. So let us calculate the mass of water. So mass is equal to volume into density. So here volume is 50 into 10 raised to power of minus 3. Density is 1000, that is 10 raised to power of 3, so that will give you 50 kg. So in this question, if you see that volume of water was given to us in liters, first we converted it into meter cube, and then we calculated what mass of water was lifted. Formula for mass is volume into density, so 50 kg of water was lifted. Now as the question says that water is being lifted. Now water is being lifted means you are doing work against gravity. So here the machine, the pump is doing work against gravity. So let us calculate work against gravity. It will be mgh, where m is 50 kg of water, gravity is 10, and height is 25. So 12,500 joule of work was done. Now as the question says, this work was done in 5 seconds. So let us calculate the power output. Work done upon time taken. This is power output. And remember, if efficiency is not mentioned in the question, so it is going to be considered as 100%. So if efficiency is 100%, so work output is equal to work input. So same will be the work input and power input, and power input means power of the pump. So the power of the pump is 2500 watt. See, efficiency is not mentioned, so it is going to be taken as 100%. So when it is 100%, so whatever is the input, same is the output. So we can say power of pump and wherever efficiency will be mentioned, then you have to apply the formula for efficiency. Efficiency is equal to output upon input, and then you can calculate. But here efficiency is not mentioned, or if it is given 100%, then whatever will be the output, same will be the input. And input power means power of pump. So you can pause and note it down. Now in this question they are saying a pump is used to lift 500 kg of water. So this is the mass of water given to us. Depth, that is the height through which the water will be raised, and the time is given. In the first part they are asking us to calculate the work done by the pump. Now as you can see here, body is being lifted up. So work is being done against gravity. So work against gravity, formula is mgh. So here m is 500, gravity given is 10, and the height through which water is raised, it is 80. So this will be the work done, 4 lakh joules. Here water was to be lifted with the help of a pump, so we can say work was to be done against gravity, and work against gravity formula is mgh. Second part, the power of the pump to be calculated. So power is equal to work upon time. Your work is 4 lakh joules, time is 10, so it will be 40,000 watt. Unit of power will be watt. Second part. Third part, the power rating of the pump if its efficiency is 40%. Now just see what this statement means. Power rating of the pump is to be calculated. That means we have to calculate the input power, and what we have calculated is the output power. This power that we have calculated, this is output power. And in the question they are asking you to calculate the power rating of the pump, that means input. So here we can write like this. Input power is to be calculated. Output power we have already calculated. Output power is 40,000. And then they have given you that efficiency is 40%. Now let us write the formula for efficiency. Formula for efficiency is output upon input. Its efficiency percent, so into 100. So we have 40 is the efficiency given. Output is 40,000. Input power is to be calculated. So when you cross multiply it, 40,000 so that will be equal to 1 lakh watt, or this could also have been written as divided by 1000, so it becomes 100 kilowatt. We could have written it like this: 100 kilowatt. So that will be the power rating of the pump was to be calculated. The power rating of the pump means the input power we have to calculate. Output we have already calculated. Efficiency is given 40%. Then applying the formula for efficiency, we will get input power. So you can pause and note it down. Numerical number 7 says the power of motor is 40 kilowatt. Now you can see that power given to us is in kilowatt. So our first step is to replace this prefix kilo with its meaning. Kilo means 1000. So 40 into 1000. That is. So here power was given to us, but power was given with a prefix. So the meaning of this prefix kilo is 1000. So that means power is 40,000 watt. Now the question says at what speed can the motor raise a load? Now raising a load means this is the force which you are applying. Because whenever you are raising a load, then whatever will be the weight of the load, that will be the force applied by you. So the force applied is equal to 20,000 Newton. Hope this is clear to you. The load which you will be lifting, the weight of that load will be representing the force applied by you. So the force applied over here is this. Now the formula for the power. We have the formula for power. Power is equal to force into average speed. We have two formula for power. One is power is equal to work upon time, and the other one is power is equal to force into speed. Now here they are asking for the speed. Power is 40,000, force is 20,000, and they are asking for the speed. So what will be the speed here? So the speed of the motor, the speed at which the load is lifted is 2 meters per second. So this is clear to you? Now question number 7. A boy weighing 350 Newton climbs 30 steps and each step is 20 centimeter high. So here in the question they are saying boy is climbing 30 steps and each is 20 centimeter high. So first of all we can calculate height that he gains. So 30 steps and each step 20 centimeter high, that is 600 centimeter, converting it into meter. So we can say 6 meter is the height which the boy gains. Now remember, as the question says that he climbs, that means the body is moving in upward direction. Remember, in any of the numerical, when the body moves in upward direction, work is being done against gravity. So work will be against gravity, so it will be mgh, where mg is the force which the boy applies. Mg is the force which the boy applies. And how much force the boy will apply? Whatever will be the weight of the boy, that much of force he is applying. So remember, when the body moves in upward direction, then whatever is the load or the weight of the body which is being raised, that is the force applied. So here, boy is climbing upstairs, that means he is raising his body. And when a body is raised, then how much force we have to apply? Force applied is equal to weight of the body. So how much is the weight of the boy? 350, and the height that he gains is 6. So the work done by him will be 2100, that is 2100 joule. Second part, you have to calculate the power spent. Your work is 2100 and the time that he takes is 1 minute. Now 1 minute means 60 seconds. So the power spent will be 35 watt. So you can note down this. Question number 8 says a boy of weight 40 kgf climbs 15 steps, each 15 centimeter high. So let us calculate the height. First of all, you can see weight, height. Let us calculate the height that he gains. He is climbing 15 steps and each step is 15 centimeter high, that is 225 centimeter, that is 2.25 meter. First of all, we have calculated height through which the boy will raise his body. He is climbing 15 steps and each step is 15 centimeter high, so 2.25. Now let us do the working for the boy and then for the girl. For boy. Now, weight of the boy is given, but you can see weight given is in gravitational unit. 40 kgf. So you are going to multiply it with value of gravity and you will get his weight in Newton. See, in the question, weight of the boy was given in kgf. So we have, that is the gravitational unit. So we multiplied it with the value of gravity and got the weight of the boy in absolute unit, that is 400 Newton. Now let us calculate work done by him. Now as the boy is moving in the upward direction, so he is going against the gravity, so that means he is working against gravity. So work against gravity is mgh, where mg is known as the weight. So weight of the boy is 400 and the height through which he goes up is 2.25. So when you multiply this, you are getting 900 joule. So this is the work done by the boy while he is climbing 2.25 meter height. Now let us calculate power developed by him. Work upon time. Work is 900 and time here is 10 seconds. So the power developed by the boy is power developed by the boy is 90 watt. Now let us do our calculation for the girl. weight of the girl, it is 20 kgf. So we are going to convert it into absolute unit, that will be 200 Newton. As we converted the weight of the boy in absolute unit, similarly for the girl also. Now, girl is also moving in the upward direction, so that means she is also doing work against gravity. So let's calculate her work against gravity, mgh, where mg is the weight. See, mg means force, or you can call it as force of gravity, that is also known as weight. So how much is the weight of the girl? 200 into height. Now the girl also does the same ascending, that means she also climbs 15 stairs of 15 centimeters, so 2.25. So that is the work done by the girl. Now let us calculate power developed by her. Okay, now the time taken by the girl, as the question says that the girl does same in 5 seconds. So the power developed by the girl is 90 watt. So here we have shown the working for the boy and the girl. We calculated their work done and their power developed. Now the question says we have to compare their work. Comparing the work means you have to get the ratio. So you have to get work of boy compared with work of girl. So work of boy is 900 and work of girl is 450. 2/1. So the ratio is 2:1. Next we have to compare power. "90 of boy, 90 of girl." So the ratio of the power will be 1:1. So you can pause and note it down now. Question number 9 says, a boy takes 3 minutes to lift 20 liters water bucket from a 20-meter deep well, while his father does it in 2 minutes. Now, as the statement of the question says that both are doing the same work. Both are lifting 20 liters water from 20-meter deep well. So they are doing the same work. So we can straight away write that the comparison of their work will be 1:1, because both are doing the same work. Both are lifting 20 liters water bucket from a 20-meter deep well. So they are doing the same amount of work. So straight away we can writing this statement as both are doing the same work. So their work ratio will be 1:1. But as you see in the B part, you have to calculate how much work each does. So here, first of all, we will try to calculate the work done by each. If this was not asked, how much work does each does, we could have straight away written the comparison of their work as 1:1. But in B part, they have asked for the work done by each. So we will be needing to calculate their work done. Now in this question, if you see, first of all, you have to remember these points, that volume of water is given in liters. So you must know 1 liter is equal to 10 raised to power of -3. How much liter of water they are lifting? 20 liters. So 20 liters will be equal to 20 into 10 raised to power of -3. That makes it 2 into 10 raised to power of -2. Hope this is clear to you. They were lifting 20 liters of water, and we know that 1 liter is equivalent to 10 raised to power of minus 3. So 20 liters of water to be lifted, so that will be 2 into 10 raised to power of minus 2 cubic meter. So this is the volume of water that we have calculated. Now, knowing the volume, you can also calculate mass of water. Volume is 2 into 10 raised to power of minus 2 and density is 10 raised to power of 3. So that makes it 20 kg. So both of them are lifting 20 kg of water through a vertical height of 20 meter. Through a vertical height 20 meter. So this is known to us. I hope this calculation is clear to you now. It was the volume of water that was given in liters, so we have converted it into cubic meter, and with the help of that we have got the mass of water that they are lifting. Now let us do the calculation first of all for the boy. Okay, now he is lifting water against the gravity. So let us calculate his work. Work is equal to mgh. How much mass of water he is lifting? 20. Through what height? 20. And the gravity is 10. So this is the work done by the boy. Let us calculate his power developed. $4,000 is the work done, and how much time he is taking? He is taking 3 minutes, that is 180 seconds. So you can reduce it by 2, so 200 upon 9. This is the power developed by the boy. Now let's do the calculation for his father. Work done. Mass same height, so same work, 4000 joule. Then the power developed, work upon time. How much time does the father take? 2 minutes, so upon 120. This is the power developed by father. Hope this part is clear to you up to here. We have calculated work done by the boy, we have calculated work done by father, and the power developed by each. Okay, now the question says you have, see, B part we have done. How much work does each? How much work each does? So 400 joule and 400 joule is the work done by both. Now we have to compare. So work of boy compared with work of father. So the ratio will be 1:1. Next, power of boy to be compared with power of father. power of boy So the ratio of their power will be 2:3. So you can pause and note down this. Now see numerical number 10. In the diagram they have shown a body which is placed at point A, and then that body is raised to point B along the surface AB. See, the diagram shows body placed at A is body placed at A. It is raised to point B along the surface AB. Okay, so body is moving in the direction AB, and if you see the force which is being applied on the body to move it from A to B, it is also in the direction of the displacement. See, in the first part, displacement and force both are in same direction. Force and displacement are in the same direction. So if they are in the same direction, whatever is the direction of the force you see there, if the force is in this direction, then you can see displacement is also in the same direction. So when force and displacement are in the same direction, we say that theta is equal to 0 degree, and in that case F work is equal to Fs. We don't use cos theta because here cos 0 will be 1. But if you want to show the working, I can show you the working over here. This is the formula. Cos 0 is 1. So this is the formula that you will be using for work done in this case. You can see in the diagram, force and displacement both are in the same direction. Force, you can see, is directed this way, and in the same direction is the displacement. So force and displacement both are in the same direction, so that means theta will be 0 degree, and what formula we can derive from here? Fs. So let's apply this formula and calculate the work done. So how much is the force applied? 15 Newton. And the displacement A to B is marked 5. So we will say 75 joule work is done by the force in moving the body from A to B. Okay, the second part. You have to calculate force due to gravity. Force due to gravity, as you can see, is marked in the diagram, and it is always in the downward direction, and its formula is mg, where m will be the mass of the body and g will be the gravity. So how much is the mass of the body here? Mass of the body is 2 and gravity is 10, so it makes it 20. So the force due to gravity is 20 Newton. Now coming to the third part. In the third part, they are asking you to calculate the work done against the force of gravity. Now work against force of gravity. What's the formula for it? Work against gravity. Formula is mgh. Now we know in this question m is known to us G is also known to us, but the vertical height. Now you see, body was at the level AC, and now the body has gone to point B. So if you see, vertical height is BC. Here, the vertical height through which the body is raised is BC. So we need to calculate that vertical height, that is H. Then only we can get work against gravity. Now see how you will calculate that vertical height. Now here you will be using, you know this formula, sine theta is equal to perpendicular upon hypotenuse. Here theta is 30, so sine 30 is equal to perpendicular is BC and hypotenuse is AB. Sine 30 is half, BC we have to calculate, and AB is 5. So on cross multiplication, BC is 5 by 2, that is 2.5 meters. So we have got the vertical height using the trigonometry over here. We use the relation sine theta and we got BC is equal to 2.5. Now let's substitute this value over here. Okay, so how much is the mass of the body? 2, gravity is 10 and height is 2.5. So it will give you 50 joule. So work against gravity is 50 joule. Now you see, body is moving along the path AB, and how much work has been done on it? 75 joule. But if the body was raised, instead of moving the body along AB, if we would have raised the body from the level AC to the point B, we could have done this work. We could have done it by using only 50 joule of energy. You see this point? If you are moving the body along AB, then you are doing how much work? 75 joule. But if instead of moving the body along AB, if you lift the body from here to here directly, then you have to do only 50 joule of work. So in the fourth part, they are asking why this difference is there. If we are moving the body along AB, as in the first part, we have to do 75 joule of work. But if instead of moving the body along path AB, if we raise the body directly from A to B, so we have to do only 50 joule of work. So they are asking, account for the difference in answer of part 1 and part 2. Sorry, part 1 and part 3, not 2, part 3. This should be part 3. Account for the difference in work. Why is there so much difference? Now the reason is when the person is moving the body along AB, then there he is doing work against friction also. Then there will be some friction. So we have to account for the difference. So how much is the difference? In first part it was 75, in the third part it is 50. So the difference is of 25 joule. And now we have to account for this difference. So you can write 25 joule of work is done against force of friction. So here we can say that 25 joule of extra work is done against friction while moving along the path AB. So that means instead of moving along the path AB, if we could have directly lifted the body from the level AC to the point B, we could have done this by using only 50 joule of energy. But if we are moving it along the path, then there will be some friction present. So to overcome that friction, this 25 joule of extra work has to be done. So this is the reason why extra work is done in part 1 in comparison to part 3. Though in both the cases you can see body is moving up to the same point B, whether you go along the path AB or you lift it directly. So this point is clear to you, so you can pause and note it down.